Right now, before your mind tries to do anything with these words, just notice that you're here, not somewhere else, here. And that matters more than you think, because the universe doesn't shout through force. It speaks through presence. It speaks through the part of you that can soften, the part of you that can listen without gripping the answer. There's a quiet door inside you that has been waiting for your hand, not to push, but to rest on it gently. The moment you touch that door with tenderness, something in you remembers what it feels like to be guided, to be met, to be answered in ways that don't need drama to be real. So let's begin the way your soul prefers. Simply. Take one slow breath in, not a perfect breath, just a real one. And as you exhale, imagine your shoulders melting downward, the way snow melts when the morning sun finally reaches it. Take another breath in, and on the exhale, unclench your jaw just a little, as if you're releasing a secret you've been holding between your teeth. Now place one hand, if you'd like, over the center of your chest. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Feel that you are here with you. Quietly inside, say, I am willing to receive. You don't have to force a feeling. You don't have to prove belief. Just offer willingness, like opening a window a crack. A little air is enough. And then ask gently, without begging, show me something kind. Show me a clear next step. Show me what supports me. Now be still for a moment. Not hunting for a sign, but allowing your awareness to widen. The answer might arrive as a soft relief, a clean thought, a steady sense of this way, or it might arrive later through an ordinary moment that suddenly feels arranged with love. This is what it means when we say the universe speaks to those who are ready to receive. It's not that you're being tested. It's that readiness is a state, a softness, a willingness to be helped. If you've been feeling stuck, it doesn't mean you're broken. It often means you've been trying to carry everything alone. You've been gripping your life the way someone grips the steering wheel in a storm, thinking, if I loosen my hold, everything will fall apart. But loosening isn't giving up. Loosening is letting support in. Being ready to receive doesn't mean you've mastered anything. It means you're beginning to stop arguing with your own worthiness, even a little. It means you're starting to believe that life can be kinder than your fear. Sometimes the universe feels silent because you've been listening for the wrong volume. You're waiting for a booming voice, a perfect sign, a neon arrow pointing to the exact right choice. But guidance often arrives like a whisper on the edge of your awareness. If your life is loud, constant worry, constant pushing, constant proving, then of course the whisper gets lost. Imagine your inner world like a lake. When the surface is churned up, everything looks distorted. But when the water becomes still, even for a moment, you can see the reflection clearly. Readiness is that stillness, not permanent stillness, just enough to see. And the universe doesn't usually speak in complicated sentences. It speaks in patterns. It speaks in timing. It speaks in the way your body relaxes when something is aligned and tightens when something is not. Perhaps you've had a day where you felt unsure, and then you heard the same phrase twice from two different people, like reality was echoing, "Pay attention." Or you opened a book to a page that answered a question you hadn't said out loud, or you were about to send a message and something in you paused, like a calm hand on your wrist, and later you realized that pause saved you. Those moments aren't here to make you superstitious. They're here to make you connected. You are not alone in this. If you felt nudges, you're not too sensitive. You're becoming aware. Now there's a difference between receiving and chasing. Chasing feels like hunger and panic. Tell me now. Fix this now. Receiving feels like, I'm available. I'm listening. I can take the next step when it becomes clear. One is tight, the other is open. And openness doesn't mean you won't act. It means you act from clarity, not desperation. A lot of readiness has to do with safety inside your own body. When you don't feel safe, you second-guess everything. You interpret pauses as rejection. You interpret delays as failure. But when you begin to feel safe, even a little, you can hear guidance because you're not busy defending yourself from life. So if you want to strengthen your ability to receive, start by treating your inner world like a beloved child. Not with harsh commands, but with reassurance. Not, "What's wrong with me?" but, "Of course I'm overwhelmed and I can soothe myself." Imagine a small bird in your garden. If you run toward it waving your arms, it won't come closer. But if you sit quietly, maybe with a few crumbs nearby, it might approach. Guidance is like that. It approaches the gentle. Maybe you've experienced this. You wake in the middle of the night, not exactly afraid, just strangely awake. You might think, "Why am I like this?" But sometimes it's simply your inner world asking for quiet attention. In those moments, you can place a hand on your heart and whisper, "I'm listening," and then let yourself return to rest when you're ready. Or maybe you've been in the shower, water running, mind finally loosening, and a solution appears. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped trying. That's receiving. The answer rises when the noise settles. Or maybe you felt drawn to take a different route with no logical reason. You followed it and avoided a draining interaction. Or you ran into something that felt like a small blessing. Even when nothing big happens, that gentle sense of being met is real. It builds trust. And I want to say this very lovingly. Your doubt doesn't disqualify you. Your fear doesn't disqualify you. The universe is not waiting for perfection. It responds to willingness. Even if you're tired, even if you're unsure, willingness is enough. Let's make the practice even simpler so you can use it anywhere. First, soften your belly. Most people don't realize they're holding their belly tight as if bracing for impact. But your body knows when you're bracing. And when you're bracing, receiving becomes difficult. So you soften, you breathe, and you say quietly, I allow life to support me. Feel the difference between allow and force. Allow is a door opening. Force is a door being kicked. Then choose one gentle question, not 100, just one. What is the most loving next step for me? Or, what would bring me peace right now? And then you listen with your whole being, not just your mind. The answer might come as a single word: rest, call, wait, begin, drink water, say no. And your mind might argue, that's too simple. But guidance is often simple. The mind loves complexity because complexity gives it something to control. Here's a helpful distinction. Anxiety rushes and squeezes. It says, do it now or you'll lose everything. True guidance doesn't threaten you. True guidance is steady, spacious, and dignified. Even when it asks you to be brave, it doesn't shove you. It holds your hand and says, one step. If you can't tell the difference yet, it's okay. You're learning a language. You practice. You listen. You make gentle mistakes. And you learn. And yes, you might misread something sometimes. You might think a coincidence is a command. You might follow an impulse that turns out to be more about avoidance than truth. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. You're in conversation with life. And conversations include clarifying, adjusting, learning how you're spoken to best. Sometimes guidance comes through people. Someone says something ordinary, and it lands in your heart like a bell. Pay attention to what opens you. Pay attention to what makes you breathe deeper, what makes you feel more honest. Sometimes guidance comes through repetition. The same theme keeps returning: boundaries, forgiveness, courage, new beginnings, not as punishment, but as love. Life repeats what you haven't yet fully received, and like a patient teacher offering the lesson again in a different form. And yes, sometimes guidance comes through delays. I know that can feel hard. You want the door to open, and it stays closed. But a delay is not always denial. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's an invitation to grow steady. Perhaps you've been waiting for a message, an answer, an opportunity, a sign that you're supported. And you keep checking your phone, your email, your world for proof. The more you check, the more anxious you feel. Because checking is a kind of asking that you don't trust. What if, just for today, you practiced a different relationship with waiting? What if you said, if it's for me, it can find me? Not as an excuse to do nothing, but as a way to soften your grip. And then you take one small loving action in your own life while you wait. You drink your tea, you tidy one corner, you send one brave application, you take one walk, you let life meet you halfway. Now let's go to the root of receiving: worthiness. Many people believe they must become worthy, and then support will arrive. But that belief keeps you reaching forever. It keeps you thirsty. It keeps you in the posture of not enough. The truth is simpler. You are worthy because you exist. You are worthy because you breathe. You are worthy because you are life, and life is meant to support life. When you begin to accept this, even a little, you stop rejecting the gifts that come. You stop brushing off compliments. You stop refusing help. You stop pushing away ease because it feels unfamiliar. Maybe someone says you did a great job, and you immediately say, "Oh, it was nothing." Notice that moment, not with shame, with curiosity. That tiny refusal is often an old habit of protection. Receiving a compliment can feel surprisingly vulnerable because it asks you to believe something good about yourself, but you are allowed to receive goodness. Next time, you might try a softer response. Thank you. And feel what happens in your body when you don't push love away. Sometimes we don't receive because receiving would change our identity. If you've always been the strong one, receiving might feel like weakness, but receiving is not a weakness. Receiving is intimacy with life. Receiving is letting love touch you. Imagine standing in a gentle rain. You can run from it, fight it, complain that it ruins your hair, or you can open your hands and let it cool your skin. The rain doesn't ask if you deserve it, it simply falls, and you are allowed to let it fall on you. If there's a part of you that says, "Yes, but," hold that part with kindness. That part has tried to protect you from disappointment. But you don't have to live without hope to be safe. You can be hopeful and grounded. You can be open and discerning. And if you've been working with manifestation, you may notice something important. Wanting is not the same as receiving. Wanting can be a clenched fist. Receiving is an open palm. You can still have desires, beautiful desires, but you hold them with tenderness instead of desperation. You say, "I'm ready for this, and I'm willing to be guided to it." And guidance can be wonderfully practical. It might arrive as a new idea that feels strangely obvious, like it was always waiting for you to notice. It might arrive as a nudge to rest, because your next step needs your clearer mind, not your exhausted one. It might arrive as a sudden truth about what you must release, an old habit of overgiving, a conversation you keep avoiding, a commitment you made from fear. Sometimes it arrives as a tiny invitation you could easily dismiss. A friend mentions a class, a stranger recommends a book. You overhear a sentence in a cafe that lights something up inside you. Or you're driving and a song comes on and one line lands so perfectly that you feel your eyes soften, as if the universe is speaking in your own language. Nothing dramatic, just that quiet feeling of being seen. When that happens, you don't have to turn it into pressure. You can treat it like a breadcrumb. You can say, "Thank you, show me the next breadcrumb." Receiving often looks like following small goodness, one step at a time, and the more you follow, the more your trust grows. If you've been waiting for a huge sign, consider this. The huge sign is often built out of many small signs that you chose to honor. You honored the whisper so life could trust you with the next whisper. You took one loving action so the next door could become visible. You might also notice something tender. When you become ready to receive, you become more honest about what you truly want, not what you think you should want, not what would impress people, what you want in your bones. And that honesty can feel emotional. If you realize you've been living in a life that doesn't fully fit, please don't shame yourself. You did what you knew how to do. You survived. You adapted. And now you're waking up. So what do you do when you receive a nudge? You don't have to make it dramatic. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. You can simply say, I noticed. That's a powerful response. I noticed, and I'm open. Then ask, what is this inviting me into? Sometimes the invitation is internal, to forgive, to soften, to stop punishing yourself. Sometimes it's external, to apply, to reach out, to set a boundary, to begin. And if you're unsure, you can request clarity in a gentle way. If this is real for me, let it become clearer with kindness. You are allowed to ask for gentleness. Love does not need to scare you to get your attention. As your channel opens, you may start noticing what drains you. You walk into certain spaces and feel heavy. You have certain conversations and feel smaller. This isn't about judging anyone. It's about discernment. Your sensitivity is becoming refined. You're learning what is yours and what is not. Maybe you say yes out of habit, and later you feel resentment. Then you realize you had a quiet no in your body all along. That no is guidance. It's not selfish, it's self-honoring. And your body over time becomes an even clearer instrument. When something is aligned, you may feel a soft expansion, a deeper breath, a sense of ease. When something isn't, you may feel constriction. If your body has been through a lot, it may need time to trust signals again. That's why gentleness is medicine for clarity. The more kindly you treat yourself, the clearer your inner compass becomes. Here's a small check-in you can try. Imagine saying yes to the choice in front of you. Notice your body. Then imagine saying no. Notice your body. One of them often feels more honest. Not always more comfortable, but more honest. Honesty is a form of receiving. You receive the truth about you, and it guides you. And now let's anchor this with a few simple reminders you can return to. Say them in your own voice, in your own rhythm, and let them land like seeds. I am open to gentle guidance. I trust the quiet yes inside me. I release the need to force. I allow support to find me. I am worthy of being helped. You may notice in the coming days subtle shifts. Maybe you pause before reacting. Maybe you rest without guilt. Maybe you feel drawn to clear your space to make room. Maybe you feel drawn to fresh air, water, stillness. These can be signs that you're becoming more receptive. You're tuning yourself like an instrument. And sometimes the universe offers a doorway, not the whole house. An idea, a conversation, a small opportunity that doesn't look like what you expected. Don't dismiss the small door. Receiving is often step by step. not because you're being withheld from, but because you're being led in a way that keeps you steady. So if something small is offered, honor it, use it. Say thank you. Gratitude isn't pretending everything is perfect. It's acknowledging the support that is already here, so your attention can recognize more of it. And if you haven't felt anything yet, don't panic. It's okay. Sometimes the first sign is simply a softening, a feeling of, maybe I don't have to do this alone. That is a sign. That is the beginning. Let's close the way we began, simply, lovingly. Take a breath. Feel the place your body is supported. Let your face soften and say inside, I am willing to receive. Then add, I receive in ways that feel safe and kind. And finally, I trust the next step will become clear. You don't have to chase certainty. You are allowed to live in a gentle unfolding. Tonight, you are allowed to rest in the truth that you are guided, you are supported, and you are already learning to receive. And if these words have helped you feel even a little more open, you can return to them whenever you need to remember. Because you deserve reminders. You deserve softness. You deserve a life that meets you with love